Welcome everyone to the February 4th Board of Adjustments meeting. We are being recorded. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. April, will you call roll?
Chair Eggline,
Here.
Vice Chair Tholt,
Here.
Commissioner Shirtliff.
Here.
Ms. Beckwith,
Here.
Mr. Top.
Here.
All five are present.
The approval of the minutes. Did somebody read the minutes? I didn't read.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 7th, 2025.
I'll second.
Any conversation needed? Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Minutes pass. All right, Kyle, will you introduce?
Good evening, Board of Adjustment. Tonight we have one variance application. The variance review criteria pursuant to section 1155C of City Code, to approve a requested variance for a new building or portion thereof, the Board of Adjustment shall consider the following standards. The variance will not create a significant risk to the public health, safety, or general welfare. The variance will not significantly reduce or impair the peaceful use of existing property or improvements in the vicinity. And strict compliance with provisions of this title would create unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty. In evaluating those standards above, the Board of Adjustment may consider the following factors: special conditions and circumstances that are unique to the applicant's site, the height, location, or dimensions of existing structures located on the site or in the vicinity, whether there is a prevalence of nonconformities in the vicinity of this site that are similar to the variance requested, the subsequent imposition of zoning restrictions creating nonconforming lots or parcels in government actions, whether a literal interpretation of the provisions of this title would deprive the property owner of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties similarly situated, the extent to which the hardship or difficulty results from the actions of the applicant, and whether granting the variance requested will confer an unreasonable special privilege to the property. Section 1155F City Code states that the Board of Adjustment may impose conditions to minimize adverse impacts that the variance may have on public health, safety, or general welfare. These may include, but are not limited to, a time period in which the structure shall be completed or other conditions necessary to mitigate adverse effects. It is the recommendation of the Attorney's Office that staff does not make a recommendation on approval or denial. And Montana law states that the Board of Adjustment has the authority upon appeal in specific cases such variance from the terms of the ordinance as will not be contrary to the public interest, where owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance will result in unnecessary hardship, so that the spirit of the ordinance shall be observed and substantial justice done. And that comes from Montana Code 762323. On a motion to approve, staff recommends the following condition: that a building permit be obtained within 1 year. Item 1 this evening, 615 Winnie Avenue. Consideration of a variance from section 1142 to reduce the side lot line setback in an R2 zoning district from 8 feet to 1 feet for a property with the legal description of the east 7 feet of lot 3 and all of lots 4, 5, and 6 in block 47 of the Corbin subdivision to the city of Helena, Lewis and Clark County, Montana. And a variance from section 1142B4 to reduce the lot line setback for a lot line that abuts a dedicated right-of-way that provides a secondary means of access to the property from 5 feet to 1 foot for a property with the legal description of the east 7 feet of lot 3 and all of lots 4, 5, and 6 in block 47 of the Corbin subdivision to the city of Helena, Lewis and Clark County, Montana. This variance is to allow for construction of a shed and a play structure. Here is the zoning map showing its location. It's on the south side of Winnie, mid-block between Harris and Tamarack Street. Here is the plat showing its location in the Corbin subdivision. History of applicable permitting action. The earliest permit on file is for construction of the house in 1976. Between 1997 and 2023, there were various permits for re-roofing, HVAC, and a kitchen remodel. Here is the site plan showing the location of the shed in the lower right-hand corner there. It is the 10 by 13 box that is shown there. And hopefully this shows better on your computer than on the screen. Here is an orthogonal drawing of the shed in place structure showing the proposed heights. Existing site. This is the front of the house when facing from Winnie. And here is the back of the house from the alley. As you can see, it was partially constructed when a stop work order was issued by the building department because it is under the size threshold where a building permit is not required, but because it is a two-story structure, it does require a building permit. Surrounding area, the houses both to the east and west have sheds that are similarly located along the fence line and alley of the property. On the south side of the alley, the properties are much wider, much more open. Here's the context of the Winnie side of the property and surrounding houses in character. The applicant has stated that this variance will serve the following purposes: to work with site topography. There's a fair amount of fall between the front and back in both east and west sides of that property. There is a retaining wall in the alley. Shed is located adjacent to the spot where there's level walk-in access from the alley to the yard. To work with existing landscaping, the trees in the location where the shed were removed for fire mitigation efforts. Other locations would require more extensive landscape alterations. And this location keeps it more out of the line of sight of neighboring properties and windows. City departments, building permit required because of the second story and location to property line. The structure will be less than 5 feet, so to the side property line, so fire resistive construction is required with no openings because it'll be less than 3 feet and no eaves on that east side of it as well. Engineering, fire, and public works did not provide comment. Transportation stated that the shed roof and the eaves for it must just be within the property and not to encroach into the alley right of way. As of today, no public comment has been received. And with that, are there any questions for city staff at this time?
Was there any existing structures in that location previously?
Not to my knowledge. The applicant may be able to speak more to what was there prior.
Okay. Any questions for Kyle?
Thank you, board.
The applicant like to come forward and present his case?
Good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out of the cold just for my single agenda item. Sorry to bring you out. I really appreciate your time. If you would like to ask that question, I'm prepared to give you that answer as well.
Was there any structures there prior?
There were no structures there prior, no. The everything Kyle said has been yeah, absolutely accurate and appreciated and correct. Done a great job of helping me through the process. Feel very new to the process, so appreciate everybody working through this with me. Chair, I saw your eyes when you saw the photo of it, and I had a similar reaction. It feels tall, and it is. When the situation arose, was building a shed, putting it in that spot, and I was like, "Oh, I'll put a kid's playhouse on top." It is not attached to the interior. There is no inside like stairway or ladder or anything like that. I feel like the fear, the thing that flagged. I forget his full name, but the inspector who spoke with me that day came by and poked his head in and looked around, and he was excited that it was not attached because then it starts to look like it's an alternate dwelling unit or anything like that. I assure you, it is a shed where I will store my bikes, snow blower, lawnmower, and then let the kids play above it. So it is not intended to be anything but that. The only other thing that I would add that I had not thought about prior to this was that when we were removing the tree that was in this site, did have the call before you dig. They came out and flagged where all the utilities were. And the only other site that I might have considered, in addition to having to move a couple of apple trees, did have all of our utilities running right under it, power and gas and all of those pieces. So that kind of eliminated that as an option for me. So that's the only thing that I would have added other than what we had already discussed. Otherwise, I don't have any other things to add or bring forth. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
How attached are you to the site? Do you have a foundation? What is the structure underneath?
So it is a poured concrete pad. It's about 4 inches with 6-inch thickened edges on that site. There is a concrete pad poured there.
Thank you. Is there any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
May I add one more thing?
Yes, go ahead.
If relevant to that concrete pad, the site to the west of us their shed is also on a concrete pad. So my insufficient research was to look and see, well, where are the others? I'm going to follow suit with what they have. And so that was just following in line with the shed that was on the concrete pad over there. Granted, the height is the deviance from what they did, but just thought I would offer that as well.
Apologies, I have a question. Could you remind me of your name?
Greg Ross. I apologize for
Mr.
not
Ross?
starting with that. Yes, sir.
Mr. Ross, when discussing it's sitting on a pad, concrete pad, is it actually connected structurally to that pad, or is it literally just sitting on the pad?
It is currently bolted to it, but I could unscrew those bolts.
Okay.
Madam Chair, let me ask a question. I was going to ask if it comes furnished, but it's a very nice. Do we happen to have any pictures of the interior of or could you describe what the interior looks like? I'm just curious. The structure's got a unique and interesting shape. I think it's be fun if I were a kid. I think that'd be fun to play in. Just curious to see how you manage the bikes and the equipment along with the play space for your children.
May I toggle through your slides to put the exterior on so I could describe it? So we're looking at the back from the southeast. The entrance faces the west on the north side. There's no door currently. I was hoping to find something at the Restore to go in there, but nothing yet. The slope is mostly for snow load to remove any of that. Bikes were going to be hooked up above the door up there. So it's all just one open space inside there. The top that you can see, I think it's a 6-foot wall on the very top for the play area. 6-foot wall sloped down to a 4-foot wall. And that's just a 10-foot by 6-foot play space on top. And so the interior of the part on the concrete foundation is 10 by 13 or a little less based on the 2x4 structures. So just a 10 by 13 footprint. And then that one spot where you're not underneath the play area is, I'll call it vaulted. I don't know if that's the correct term, but it's significantly higher there just to shed snow, and that's where I'd store seasonal items.
Mr. Ross, I have another question for you. How are you planning on dealing with snow and rainwater shedding off of this?
I have a plan for a gutter system and hoping to collect some of that into rain barrels. It is along my neighbor's side, so I know we have to consider the overhang. I saw the comments from the building department, make sure the overhang does not exceed the property lines. And I've been working with the neighbor there to the east to coordinate all of this. He's been on board, has helped me build some of this. So he is a part of this, did not speak for or against it, but been in very constant communication with him and committed to making sure that it does not have any adverse effect on their property. So my goal was to work with him, and he's like, you're on the downhill side, everything's coming your way. So he was not too concerned about that, but I'm committed to being a good neighbor and not having Tyvek that everybody's looking at for any longer than I have to.
How much taller is the floor of or shed to your house? How much grade change is there?
I'm not certain how tall my house is. Is that the question?
No, how much grade? So the floor level of your house to the floor level of the shed, is it going up 2 feet? Do you have 4 feet? How much grade? Just an estimate. I'm trying to get a better picture of the site, and I'm not getting a good idea off of this picture. Is there a better picture that shows the site?
That's about the same. Our home is the floor we live on is the same relative height as the shed floor, if that's the question.
Do you step up steps to get to your floor, to the main floor then?
Yes, 2.
Okay. So probably anywhere from 12 to 14 inches, I'm guessing. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not positive. Yes, I think.
Okay. Or risers, that would be 1 step. So, okay, thank you. Probably 18.
Oh,
21.
Chair
Okay.
Eglin.
Thanks. Sorry. I'm building a mental picture in my head. I got it. Yes.
There was I believe it's a USGS map that was included in the application I can bring up. It's pretty vague though with regards to the topo contours. But I can bring it up on the screen if you would like.
Just trying to build a better picture of what other opportunities you had in placement. I know you've said grade and you've said trees, but without a site plan showing that, I have trouble picturing it, if you would.
Sure. So the other location that I would have considered, does the mouse show up? It does. Does it show up on your screens?
Yes.
So right here is the only other site that I would have considered, and it's hard to see right here. There's an apple tree designated there, apple tree there. Would have been in this spot. It's the only other relative flat spot, but all of the utilities come straight through right there.
Okay.
Over here on the property line, the retaining wall is written at a curve. This is a significant drop off from the yard space right here down to off alley parking right down here, which we have an easement that was on the property when we bought it to grant access right across here to our neighbor. So this, yeah, would be significantly lower than the yard, I'd say by 3 feet, maybe, 3.5 feet down. And then the curve was the part I didn't consider for some square angles on the shed. But this would have been the other spot. There's a gate right here that I would have tried to squeeze it if possible, but having removed a tree, there was just a big empty space staring at a house that we weren't staring at. They were staring at our kids' windows. Nobody was actually doing any staring. Let me be clear on that.
It's recorded.
No, all us lurkers. Sorry.
No, you're good. All right, thank you. I appreciate you walking me through that.
I had another question. So you mentioned that there wasn't like an internal staircase. So is this just like tall vaulted one ceiling? It's not two separate levels at all, it's just one.
I'm trying to think if I have any pictures of the interior on my phone that I'd be happy to walk around and show you if that would be permissible. I don't know that I do, and I don't want to scroll with everybody waiting, but if you were to look up at the inside, from the inside, you'd see the flat floor of the kids' play area, and then you would see the roof going like this, and right at my fingertips is about where the bikes would hang. So you'd walk in right around here, right under the vaulted area, and so there's a little bit of a wall in there. You'd be staring up at something like that.
Okay.
I
So-
don't think that's helpful, but that's
So there's
that's
not like an internal floor between the levels. It's just like literally like vaulted shed ceiling, right?
correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Is there any additional questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I know, Chair Egelman, thank you very much. I know you asked this question just for clarification. Your house and the shed are level, just they're kind of, or is there like the grade separation where one seems to be higher than the other, the floor of one?
I haven't done no formal assessment, so I'm just going off of gut here, but the lot itself is higher here at the alley and decreases all the way down to Winnie here. So if at all, so we did remove a stump. So there was a big void there where we had fill that came in with gravel, or the pad was poured after being poured. If anything, the surrounding terrain, because the pad was poured, it does feel very level, even though the terrain decreases from right here to our porch where there's a couple of steps right there. But yeah, so the topography feels higher, but when I look at the floor of the shed, if I'm thinking about the floor inside the home, to me, they feel relatively level or even.
Okay. Follow up, if I may. So the interior it's just for storage, not for residential use or for anyone.
It will not be finished, not going to be wired, no plumbing.
And then also too, how tall is it going to be again on the highest point? Just out of curiosity, because it looks like, I think the pictures make it look monster, like huge. It's compared to, you read 10 by 13. I think that's where, yeah.
So,
That's-
it looks like 17, but this is 12. So to the apex of this is 12 feet tall right here. And then I added so this is 8 feet tall right over here. And then there's the floor for the kids' play area. There's just a little 2 foot wide by 3 feet tall space to crawl in. So 8 feet tall here. And then I added a 6 foot tall wall to allow playroom area in there. So that's what, 14, and maybe with that little bit of extra incline, it's called 15 feet total.
Thank you.
Thanks.
April, Are there any comments online?
We have no one online, and for the record, there are no other members of the public in the room.
All right, thank you. I'm going to open it for board discussion.
Kyle, can we move back to the slide with the criteria on it? If that's possible. Thank you. Thank
This
you.
one or the previous?
No, this one works. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
I guess I'll start. I don't have a problem with the shed itself and the variance for changing the setbacks from 1 feet to 1 feet. It's where I'm up for discussion is the height of the structure, and what we've had in the past here is the talk of garage malls and where we've had angry neighbors on that. It sounds like the neighborhood is okay in this circumstance. They've already been staring at it. So I think I can get there, but to me, it comes down to the height.
Chair Gline, I think the height probably looks more out of place because of the footprint of the building. I mean, the height doesn't bother me. If it was just a larger structure, it wouldn't bother me. So it just looks out of place in that case to me. I think my main concerns with it are impact to neighbors, which with snow, ice, water, with the sheds, and then also the alleyway with the sheds shedding away from his site and shedding that water and snow away. I think that dealt with appropriately. It's not a concern, and also the fact that the neighbor that helped him build it is the one that's going to have snow coming over. So less concerned about that given those circumstances. So overall, I don't have too much concern. I think there probably was an opportunity to place it in a different location, meaning the setbacks potentially in that corner still. So I think it's unfortunate a little bit that it's was placed in that location. But I do think there's a prevalence of other nonconformities in the vicinity. So, and with the neighbors adjacent, not having any public comment and such, generally think it's okay.
Chair Eggline, thank you. I just echo the sentiments of the board. I know that there was concern about the heights in the garage mahal. I'm going to borrow that term. I know we did hear from somebody who had a very large garage who had concerns from the neighbors because it was blocking the view. This happens to be in the alley. I think after the explanation, I feel more comfortable with the height and size of it and the location of it, understanding that there seems to be an answer for, well, the utilities run this way, so that spot didn't work. The grade separation between there's a little bit that also too, maybe where the photo was taken. I'm not blaming you, planner Kyle, but I think I have no problem with it. I think it's nice. I wish I had one when I grew up. So.
I am on the fence because this is a new build and nothing has historically been here in this spot before. It's not replacing an already existing shed, although there are sheds currently in existence in the neighborhood that are in similar circumstances. If this had been requested ahead of building, I would have been far more comfortable with more of a setback than 1 foot on each side. But it is in existence and everyone agrees that the neighborhood doesn't seem to have a problem with it. So yeah, I'm on the fence.
Chair Glenn, I'd make another comment that, the applicant is gonna have his hands full with some of the building code requirements as well. That's out of our realm, but those would be kind of my bigger concerns as far as impact to the community and safety and those concerns. But knowing that the building department is going to step in on those cases as well. There are some challenges there with what's already been built, but again, I see a path forward. So.
The way I'm looking at this other location, he'd still need a variance from the alley, just one of them. But not on the side. But with the neighbor helping, obviously the neighbor's not bothered by it. We probably would have spoke up. On the height, I think it definitely is the proportions. I think, and it doesn't help with the Tyvek. Tyvek on anything never helps with how you perceive what it's gonna look like later. I think that is always distorting. I'm comfortable with it. Yes, it would be great if we do this before. But we all have lessons learned, so I can understand that. I mean, we have to get a permit for a fence if taller than 6 feet, so. And apparently animals that we've just learned about tonight, so. So is there any more board discussion before we vote?
Mrs. Beckwith, you good or you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Question for April. Does the vote have to be unanimous one way or the other?
So we, the bylaws of this board allow for one board member to vote against the motion in order for a motion to pass. So it's a super majority. So that's why when we don't have 4 members, we can't do business. So we have to have 4 voting in favor of a motion to approve it.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody want to move an emotion?
I will make a motion to approve a variance from section 11-4-2 to reduce the sideline setback in R2 zoning district from 8 foot to 1 foot for a property with the legal description of 7 feet of lot 3 and all the lots 4, 5, and 6 in block 47 of the Corbin subdivision to the city of Helena, Lewis, and Clark County, Montana, with the condition that a building permit must be obtained within 1 year.
I'll second the motion.
Further board discussion? I'm seeing none. April, will you do a roll call vote?
Sure. Chair Eggline,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tholt,
Yes.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Ms. Beckwith,
Aye.
Mr. Top.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I will make a motion to approve a variance from section 11-4-2B4 to reduce the lot line setback for a lot line that butts a dedicated right of way that provides a secondary means of access to the property from 5 feet to 1 feet for a property with a legal description of 7 feet of lot 3 and all of lots 4, 5, and 6 in block 47 of the Corbin subdivision, the city of Helena, Lewis, and Clark County, Montana, with the condition that a building permit be obtained within 1 year.
I'll second the motion.
Any further board discussion? I'm seeing none. April, will you call roll?
Chair Eggline,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tholt,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Ms. Beckwith,
Aye.
Mr. Top.
Aye.
Motion passes.
April, is there anybody online for general comments?
We still have no one online and there are still no other members of the public in the room unless Mr. Ross has some general public comment for this board.
Thank you very much. And I did contact those around me to just be like, hey, let's hash this out. Let me know what we need to do here. So I assure you it was not done in isolation. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, April, announcements, and we have a meeting coming up in March.
We will have a meeting in March. We did receive one application before the deadline yesterday. We're kind of hoping to have 2 months off, but that's just not going to be the case. So we will have a meeting in March and we will most likely have a meeting in May as well.
No April, correct?
No April because we will not have 4 members available for a
She's
meeting.
right there, though. She's right there, though.
So you guys won't have a meeting in April. Since both you and both Chair Eggline and Vice Chair Tholt had indicated that they would be not in town.
Okay, well, you can yell at the school district.
At the end of the last meeting, I think it was mentioned that we were supposed to maybe consider reviewing what am I talking about?
So the land use plan.
Thank you. Yeah.
So if you have any comments or concerns about anything that you have seen come before you, with, in regards to the zoning code, et cetera, we would greatly love any comments that you could give to us and we can forward those on to our consultants.
Is that meant to be like a future agenda item for a meeting, or is that just like?
That's kind of like
Share.
a homework thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a formal thing or a work session or anything like that. It's more just your personal thoughts on where the code is wrong, basically. Good or bad.
Where you see room for improvement.
Yes.
Okay, so we are responding as citizens, not as board members. Got it. Thank you.
Citizens with expertise because of the board.
Perfect. Thank you.
This is where you talk about the height of the transition zone.
Exactly. So this is like things like, transitional residential's height limitations or other things within the downtown zoning code that we have seen come up, like the setback that Stockman Bank had to get, increased, things like that.
That is the one that comes back is downtown is as a 0, and that is very, very hard to get 0.
As part of, once the land use plan is implemented, we will be looking at, the entire zoning code and updates to align it with what that is. So there would be room for changes in those specifics.
We will basically be rewriting the zoning code after the land use plan is adopted, and we'll also be going over subdivision regulations as well. So there's a lot of changes happening in the next year to 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I will make a motion to adjourn the February 4th meeting of the Board of Adjustments.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Meeting is adjourned.